All right, guys, it's 10 o'clock. We are going to go ahead and hit the ground running. I want to give Hannah Ferguson as much time as I can this morning for her presentation of how to be a real estate investor with a 401k. We are happy to welcome Joanna to come into our office meeting this morning. Thank you for coming back to see us. We missed you. We enjoyed you being here. Okay, so this morning, there's a lot of things that I've been thinking about and working on for you guys with small steps, big results. I'm thinking about being grounded and how important it is for us when we're in a transaction, we're in a situation, for us to ground ourselves in truth. So I went back and rewrote the core value number 15 that we added earlier this year, and it's a little bit better, I think, a little bit more precise. And so we root ourselves in truth, standing grounded before we take action, before taking action. Like lightning that finds strength by striking ground, we believe lasting power comes from being firmly grounded in truth. Before we act, we anchor ourselves spiritually, emotionally, and ethically, so our energy builds rather than breaks. This grounding allows us to lead with clarity, humility, and integrity, ensuring our choices are steady, intentional, and rooted in truth, but never reactive. Let that sink in for a second, because I think it's important. It's very easy in this job to be reactive to somebody being hostile to you, to someone giving you a problem that you need to solve. If you ground yourself first and say, what is the clear, being humble and having integrity in doing the right thing, what's the best thing to do? Something that we talk about in my church class all the time is, based on my past experiences, based on my present situation, based on my future hopes and aspirations, what's the wise thing to do? If we all look at that as being grounded, I think it will take us a long way in life. So next week, we're going to have breakfast with us. I'm going to be going to get us some Taco Cabana tacos, and Brian Stewart had to switch his. He had a big event going on, so he'll be joining us on the 8th when Brian Wright goes over the new appraisals with us on the 8th of October. Next week, we're going to be doing open houses and visibility, which is small steps, big results. Class 3, if your license is renewing October, November, December, go ahead and do it. Clarissa got hers done. It only took a day. Angela Stevens got hers done last week, and it took about 5 days. And so we don't want you like trying to submit the night before your license has to be done, like the end of the month, and then you can't practice real estate for a couple of days. That means no practicing real estate. So please get it in early if you're renewing. If you're on my most wanted list, you got an email from me because your auto pay didn't get restarted with Greater Fort Worth or Metro Tax. So please get that done. I sent everybody that's on the most wanted list the auto pay form that you can fill out and send in. If you didn't get an email from me saying that you need to do it, then you're okay. So everybody that, like Victoria, yeah.
I told you.
But that's going on.
I'm the only one on the list.
No, we actually have 16 people currently that are not set up on auto pay and that have to pay by the end of the month. What happens is, you're good. By the 5th of the month, they start emailing me and they say, hey, we're going to turn off your MLS service for your entire office in 4 days. And so if so,
you need to put a post week.
I know. Well, I mean, maybe on the 24th, I'll be putting pictures up there. So if Greater Fort Worth Association dues aren't paid, please go ahead and get that done for us. Larissa and I were having a conversation before the class started about the notes, slides, and video that I put up on Monday night's email, and that's also in the brokerage announcements channel. I want you guys to be aware of why I'm doing that. So we record this meeting, and I love for you to sit back and watch the whole meeting. If you can't be here, that'd be great. But I understand time is of the essence for a lot of people. You may not have an hour. So I put the notes up there so that you can go through and actually just skim through the meeting. If you miss a meeting, hit that notes section in the brokerage announcements channel or on Monday night's email. It's at the top of the email there. Hit the notes. You can skim through something. If there's something that catches your attention, Well, then you can open the slides and you can see these slides that I'm presenting to you. They'll be there every single week. And so that's 3 different options for you to be able to catch up on what you missed. As we get closer to the end of the year, we are going to have some new forms coming around. There's going to be some changes that you guys need to be aware of. So I'm going to keep you informed and I'll let you know, but it's going to be in the notes, the slides, in the video. Next Thursday, 11:30 a.m., we're going to have a town hall. I want everybody to come to Courtside Kitchen over on Rogers Road. It's over the other side of Main Street. Kind of that way. About, I guess, 2 miles from here or so, maybe not that far.
Stop University.
It's off University, yeah. But it's Courtside Kitchen, it's pickleball, it's shaded. We'll have some food, we'll have some drinks, we'll have some fun. I want everybody to come, please. Let's move on. National market update. So the buyer demand, mortgage applications for home purchases surged to the highest since July, up 23% year over year, the strongest pace in 4 years plus, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association. Realtor.com reports first annual drop in listing prices since the spring and first per square foot drop in 2 years as sellers begin to adjust. The market balance, NAR chief economist says the market is now balanced at a 5-month supply though local conditions vary. Obviously, there's micro markets where we're balanced. There's micro markets that were a buyer's market. I sold one 3 weeks ago at multiple offers in Fort Worth up in 76179. It happens, but it's micro market. Buyer demand is heating up. We're going to talk about it in a minute. Prices are softening and the market overall looks more balanced. Local trends will drive outcomes. Last week, Dow logged its first win in 3 weeks. S&P 500 and NASDAQ had their best week since August on the Fed cut hopes. CPI ticked up. The jobless claims hit a 4-year high, fueling rate cut expectations. The producer index, future consumer price relief, small business optimism rose, and tariffs boosted Treasury revenues. Overall, the market rallied as traders bet on Fed rate cuts with inflation mixed, but labor market signals pointing to an easing ahead. Here's this week's forecast. Housing starts are expected to dip. The building permits are forecast to rise, which is good. If we got homes coming on, about those in a minute too. Retail sales in August likely show a smaller but continued gain. Economists expect a 4-point Fed rate cut at the upcoming meeting, which is tomorrow. Yeah, 18. Builders stay cautiously active. Consumers keep spending, and the Fed looks to ease rates. So here's the headlines. The builders are slashing prices on new homes at a 5-year high. Almost 40% of builders are now cutting prices as demand softens and affordability issues persist. The 30-year fixed rate mortgage recently fell to 6.35, one of the sharpest weekly drops in more than a year. It actually went down again. We'll talk about it in a minute. Financial firm PIMCO recommends the Fed stop unwinding its holdings of mortgage-backed securities, arguing that reinvestment could shave 20 to 30 basis points off the mortgage rates without needing as large of a Fed rate cut. Mortgage rates have eased into the mid-6s, boosting buyer and refinance activity. Locking in might make sense if you expect rates or Fed policy to push them higher again. We're going to see some volatility. There's no doubt that we're going to see some stuff go down. We're going to see it go back up. There's going to be all these reports come in, and the rates are going to vary on what report is out for that week. Here is the rate watch. This is as of this morning. The 30-year FHA is at 5.91, which is down 0.7% since last week. The 30-year fixed, this is what everybody's talking about. When they say the mortgage rate is, this is the one they're looking at, the 30-year fixed conventional. But at the lower price points, we're talking about FHA buyers. So that's why I think this one's important. The 15-year is looking really good too, 5.71. So you have options. Here's the pulse. Something happened yesterday that threw my numbers totally into a bazillion tornadoes going at one time. We added Houston numbers.
And I love it.
So
What?
we added Houston's MLS, HAR, to North Texas.
Amazing.
Okay, so hang on.
Is that
I'm not
why-
exactly sure how that's going to figure into all the numbers. But when that top number up there, when I was pulling 47,000 homes for sale last week, all of a sudden it was at 89,000. I was like, wait, what? hello, what happened? So I'm gonna hold off for a little while and let these numbers kind of dwell all off before I start adding those numbers back in, because I don't want to confuse anybody by putting 89,000 houses for sale and everybody thinks we have 50,000 houses come on the market, we doubled. No, we added Houston. So,
Just keep Houston out?
I'm sorry?
We just keep Houston out?
I know, it's kind of like, well, but we have to look at Dallas. Same thing.
We have.
No, Austin's completely separate.
Wichita
Greater Fort
Falls,
Worth
right
is
now.
merging with Louisville. Greater Fort Worth is merging with Louisville, but they're gonna have their own market. It's gonna be a really unique situation. It's not gonna be like when somebody gets absorbed into, when Northeast Louisiana got absorbed into Metrotex, they completely are in Metrotex, but they still have Northeast Louisiana Association. Same thing's happening with Greater Fort Worth. They're absorbing Louisville, but they're still going to have Greater Louisville. I know it's weird, but it's mainly for the hierarchy, the leadership and dues. They get more benefits through Greater Fort Worth than what they're getting through Louisville. Greater Tyler? No.
No, but you're talking about boards, not MLS.
Correct.
Not
Correct.
MLS.
Houston is MLS.
Yeah, I was looking at it last night. It's crazy.
It's crazy what you're looking at.
Oh, that's so
And if you haven't looked at Omni on your MLS, that gets you to Cancun.
But
Mexico.
Waco hasn't added in yet.
No, Waco's not. Yeah, on Matrix, go to Omni and you'll pull up everything in Mexico and you can see all the Mexican listings on that, the Yucatan Peninsula, all that area there. So let's talk about this week.
It's funny. in Mexico, right? Oh, anybody?
So Dallas, we had an increase in listings from 1.17. I think, of course, the important thing that we need to be looking at, the price decreases. They went down a little bit, but they were up last week. They were down the week before. It's just kind of every couple of weeks, we're going to see more people reducing house prices, every 2 weeks or so. So I don't think that's unusual, and it's staying pretty steady. Importantly, there's 850 builders in Dallas, which is 14% of the market. Denton is here. Parker County is here. They're up a little bit, but their price decreases are down. Tarrant County listings are up a little bit. Price decreases are up a little bit. Builders make up 15.84% of the active listings. Wise County, y'all are at 30.11% of the MLS is builders. Of builders, 30% of the active MLS are builders. But there's only 621 total listings, and there are 187 builders. There's more land to build on. It's just, it makes sense, but I think it's an interesting stat. Parker County, you're at 28.64% of MLS is builders. Over the last 7 days, 12.83% of the 5 counties that we're looking at had a price reduction, which is staying pretty solid. I mean, 10% to 13%, 13.5% every week of the market is reducing price. Clarissa's view. These are self-explanatory. If you ever look at that market watch on your MLS data on your dashboard, if whatever your micro market is, if my market is Tarrant County, I look at Tarrant County, all price ranges. I just want to see a big picture. And that's why I keep my market on. I literally set it for this right here. This is mine every day. But I pull these because depending on where you're working, it can be very precise. I use this data if I'm doing my weekly seller report on Fridays. I go and pull their micro market and make it look like that. And then I put that in that document so that they can see the micro market that they're dealing with. Sometimes it's like when I'm looking at Weatherford in a certain zip code, there may only be 2 new listings and 7 price reductions, but at least they can see their market. Make sense? Okay, business tip of the week. Going back to our core value. Your brand isn't the story you tell, it's the one that people tell about you. So be sure to offer consistent, effective solutions to client pain points and exceptional service grounded in genuine care and attention to detail. What people say about you, about your brand, is its real DNA. I think that Jamie would probably really highly agree with that. Zillow found the total value of the U.S. housing market reached a record high of 55.1 trillion in June, which is 20 trillion higher than before the pandemic. So growth has slowed to less than 2% gain the past year. Put that in context, 55 trillion, but it's gained 20 trillion in the last 4 years.
Let me price.
That's the total value of the U.S. housing market today. How much is for sale is $55.1 trillion of the total value of the housing market.
It's like a 50% increase.
Or
And that would
40%.
be- You would assume that's pricing.
Yeah, 30%. It's a 30% increase in 4 years for the entire U.S. housing market.
But we're not talking about appreciation. We're just talking about
No, we're talking about appreciation, what the value of the market is. The entire U.S. housing market is 55.1 trillion, which it's gone up 30% in 40 years, in 4 years. I would think that it's the value of, because the way they said it, it's the total value of the U.S. housing market, which is all houses. 55, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of zeros. But now I get to be done, and we have turned it over to Hannah. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Hannah Ferguson. She came on a couple of weeks ago and had this great idea for a class that she wanted to do, how to be a real estate investor with a 401k. And so I'm going to kind of be her back support over here, office support, and run some things for her while she talks to you about how she does this and how she helps people and explains this. So thank you for breakfast, and thank you for coming. And ladies and gentlemen, it's Hannah.
Thank you so much for having me back. It's amazing to watch a great resource.
Are you in
Grapevine,
Grapevine,
Texas? I'm sorry, Grapevine, Texas?
Yeah.
Okay, I see your island on Pine Street, so I see your sign. I got out on Pine Street. Yeah. I was like, wait a second, I'm not even, that's my billboard. Yeah. There you go. I try to have one on every street in Grapevine.
You gotta be Sue White.
She's got every lot.
She has every lot.
Sue and I are bad, you know, and she's like the matriarch of Grapevine.
Yes, she is.
Anyways, yes, but so I'm glad you've seen my sign. We do sort of the micro market of Grapevine. We primarily do property management. And so that's our specialty. We help clients on the investment side. I say I am a kick the door down personality type, so I'm not real good with working with buyers. So I do have a buyer's agent on my team named Gary. Everybody else is in the mid-70s on my team. So we just don't do a lot of real estate brokerage activity like you guys do. We primarily help with tenants, toilets, and termites. Okay? How many of you were here last time I presented? Yeah, a few of you, a few familiar faces. So, I'm hoping to give you some resources so you can sell more houses. Okay, so I'm going to write some of the goals on the board. Do y'all want to maybe come in here? Because I would hate for y'all to sort of miss what I'm writing here. Because I like, sort of like a, you know, a teacher. I like everybody just.
And you can write it on the right-hand side, people on, yes, ma'am. That way the people at least can see. Let me move the camera a little bit so that people can see a little bit more to there. Pardon me a second, guys, online.
So I'm still hiding in the corner.
Okay. I'm going to give you my really short introduction, okay? In 2005, I finished my master's. I started a great career, started making all this good money. And then at 2008, I lost all that money because the stock market crashed. All right. And my partner in life at the time was a financial advisor. So I spent all of this time at all of these meetings talking about your options for your mutual funds and mutual fund meetings and self-directed IRAs and 401ks. And it was like in 2008, it was like I was holding this empty bag, right? And that's also when I started in real estate. Okay, so I have about 20 years of practicing this and have great expertise and great resources. Number one, I'm a real estate broker. I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not a tax accountant, and I don't play one on TV, okay? But I'm going to give you some people who are experts at all of those things because I want you to be able to teach this to your clients. Because imagine you have a client who buys one house every year from you. It's your favorite client, repeat business. Imagine you have 2 clients who buy an investment property every year from you. Imagine you have 5 clients who buy an investment property every year? What if you had 10 clients who every single year they consistently bought an investment property from you? What if you had 250 clients who just bought one house a year? That's a good math, right? That's easy math. That's a lot of money. You need 2 or 3 transaction assistants, right? Okay, so that is big picture goal. All of us want 250 clients who will buy one real estate investment house a year, if not more. But so let's teach our clients how to be better real estate investors by using, number one, other people's money to pay that real estate off. Okay, so that's where I come in. I'm the property manager. You know, I help that equity be protected. And then another part of that is how do they get the capital? Because so much of this is based on how much that 20% down is, right? Because investment properties, you know, and I can teach you a couple of different strategies that I encourage my younger clients to do. It requires a lot of sacrifice, you know, but so this is sort of my cup of tea. This is what I love to do. I love to teach people how to invest in real estate. How many of you have been to a Club Wealth meeting? Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. There's an organization called Club Wealth. They do teaching at MLS, and it is phenomenal. This guy was listing 1,000 homes a year, and then he created a coaching program. All right, so I was at Club Wealth a year or 2 ago, and he gave me this epiphany. My goal in life is to buy as much real estate as I can, as fast as I can. And at the time, I put my own brakes on buying real estate because I had a house that had flooded. I had 3 kids. I got 6 jobs. You know, like, how could I take on more? But it helped me shift my mind to, okay, the whole reason I sell real estate at the end of the day is so that I can buy more real estate. Okay? If I'm buying more real estate, I'm probably talking to my clients about buying more real estate too. Because if I'm getting a deal that maybe I'm not going to buy, I'm going to send it to my clients to see if any of them are interested. And so that's a big part of the shift in the goal is, okay, if I can sell more real estate, I can buy more real estate. So that's what I'm going to put is number 1, is we want more doors as realtors for us, and we want more doors for our clients, right? So I'm going to, hopefully you guys have some notes. I like to sort of take breaks. So this will be break number 1. I want you to write down 5 clients that you think could buy 1 house a month. Okay? You don't know, I mean, there's no out there. Okay. A year. Oh, sorry. 5. Okay. Yeah. Do you know, if you don't know, maybe 5, maybe your own real estate, maybe you know 1 person who might be able to buy 1 house a month or a year. Sorry, 1 rental house investment property. Okay. Here's what we want to ultimately do is take on somebody who is right now renting, and we can get them to buy. I've got a property coming up that's USDA, no money down. Yeah, in Roanoke. I'll send it to you. And then once they buy that first house, there's grants. Y'all know about T-Shack, right? I got one of my clients $25,000 towards a down payment. Do y'all have a T-Shack lender who has that grant? Mm-hmm. Perfect. Okay, so that's kind of step 1 is use somebody else's money to buy a door. Then once you bought that door, you kind of made the sacrifice to be a realtor, you know, a homeowner. Then you transition from that into a real estate investor, into an entrepreneur, into an empire. All right. So you want to think about your clients as taking them from renter. Okay. I got no assets too. I'm going to find an asset. I'm going to use the government's money as my down payment. Okay. And I'm going to get some tenants in there so that they've got a little bit of feasibility as far as their rent as well. And then from there, you can take them hopefully to the next step, which is maybe an FHA loan to get a little bit more breathing room, a little bit more space. So they're starting out at a pretty modest home. They're not buying a $500,000 or $600,000 starter home. They're buying a modest home to start with, right? Because they're in the same time you're coaching them financially, okay? But you have to give them this big picture of what does your retirement look like? Like, when you retire, what do you want it to look like?
What is it going to look like at this point, or what's going to, I don't want to have to worry.
Worry. Right. Worry you're going to run out of money.
Yeah.
Worry you're not going to be able to afford the things that you need in life. What do you guys think the average cost of healthcare is in your last year of life? So 300.
Okay, I could fit unless you need that.
So my background's in medical sales. I did that for 15 years while selling real estate, actually. So I needed health insurance for my family at the time. But so I got my real estate license while I was assessing people in the hospital for hospice and cancer surgery and things like that. Okay, so healthcare is a big thing with retirement. It becomes very expensive. Okay, and so most of us kind of think of retirement as I want to be able to not work as hard. I don't want to run out of money, and I would like to leave some portion of a legacy, right? Anybody else have other ideas for retirement that may be more fun than those sort of morbid things? Sorry.
Traveling.
What? Traveling.
Turning around, us doing that.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Airplane. Yes. Travel to me. I want to travel the world. And I want to sit on that beach in Italy. Okay. And then I want to go to Greece and then Mallorca. And then I want to go to Singapore right after that. Okay. That's my big vision. Okay. So as you wrote those 5 clients' names, I want y'all to write down what are the 5 things I want to do in retirement. You know, be able to spend time with kids, grandkids, neighbors, fun, do community things, donate my time. Luckily, both sets of my parents, my husband's and mine, they live near us. They're within 7 minutes. So that allows me to work because I have access to babysitter because they have time to give me, right? So if you're looking at, okay, what's retirement look like? We got the beach, we got the palm tree, we got the travel. Okay, and wouldn't it be nice if somebody else's hard-earned money paid for all of that? Right? Okay, so if that's big picture goal is to not run out of money, especially when our healthcare costs have skyrocketed the last year of life, okay, then how do we get back to where we're at now, which is I need more doors to be able to do this, okay? How many of you are familiar with the Roth? Okay. What is the major advantage of the Roth?
You've already. No, we have not. Yes, you've already paid taxes. The traditional is.
Correct. Okay. How many of you think the government's doing a good job managing our money that we get them? How many of you think taxes are going to go down? No. We have an incredible window right now of taxes that are much lower than they will be in the future when we go to retire. Say that's 15 years from now, maybe it's 30 years from now, right? Whatever that benchmark is for time, more than likely the tax rate is not going to be in the mid-20s like it is right now. So that means when you go to take out that 401k or that money, the government's going to want more of it, okay? So I printed some flyers for you guys. I'm going to try to talk through this as fast as I can. I also sent in a book that was 300 pages, okay? So
That'll be linked.
I did take 3 snippets. Okay, I did take 3 snippets, okay? So here's what I do in property management. This is later in the presentation, okay? But here is, we're going to talk tax strategies, okay? All right, so in your tax accounts, you have several different types, right? You have taxed always, taxed sometimes, and taxed never. All right, so a traditional taxed always account has, you know, like a 401k in it, right? And if you're working like a W-2 employee, then that's what kind of most people are accustomed to. They go to work, they save into their 401k, and anybody else, sorry, there you go. Okay, and then when they retire, they pay taxes on that money coming out, right? So your traditional IRA, your 401k, all of your kind of traditional types of accounts are actually taxed always as ordinary income. So if we've established the taxes will be more later in life, it would, you know, and that's a step, that's a 401(b), that's all the different, a pension, right? So that's all of those categories in that first bucket, the tax always bucket, okay? The tax sometimes bucket is more of a pay-as-you-go deduction, all right? And then you have the Roth, okay? The earlier in life you take the Roth, the better. having been married to a financial advisor for 17 years, that didn't register with me. So I'm hoping to teach people, if you hear nothing I say today and you remember nothing, remember one thing. Take your Roth conversion as early as possible. All right, so let's say the client is changing jobs, or they're looking for a job, or they had a previous job elsewhere. They can take that 401k and do a Roth conversion on it, which means they're going to pay the taxes now, which are going to be less than when they pay it when they go to retire. So the Roth conversion also allows that asset to be transferred at death without minimum distribution for the heirs. Sorry, you're holding your finger. Yeah.
On the walk, when you do your taxes, you just need to have a rate.
Oh, Roth shelters always.
So you're paying taxes when you put it in.
Correct. Okay, so for easy math, let's say you have 100K,
But if it's earning some type of dividend.
correct? Gains, dividends, appreciation,
It's tax.
all tax sheltered. It's the greatest, you're literally nothing I say today. The one thing I would like to teach you is whatever type of account you have investment or whatever type of account your clients have, if we can get them across the finish line to understand this is how you stay retired. It is taking the tax hit now and not when you go to retire. Okay? So you got your, let's say 100K, your 401k, you're gonna roll that over into a Roth. The year you roll it over, you have to pay the taxes on it. So let's call that 22K. All right, so you have to have that money separate because you cannot pay your taxes out of your Roth account. But I can roll that into a $300,000 loan on a real estate inside my self-directed IRA, which is y'all's expertise. I call this stock market a casino account. No, really, like my husband has this little Fidelity because he works at GE because he's a W-2 employee. And I'm like, how is the casino account doing?
Repeat that second.
Okay, I'm sort of getting this direction, sorry. Okay, so if we go back to the buckets, you've got the 3 buckets, right? So inside the taxed never bucket is basically only a Roth account. That is the only account that is not taxed once the money is put in. You have to take the tax on the front side. Okay, so if you're rolling over a 401k, and that's typically when people do a Roth conversion. Or because most of you are probably independent contractors, how many of you are W-2? Nobody. Oh, good. Guess how much you can save a Roth a year?
7,000
Yeah.
month?
No,
No. Is that correct?
how much you can invest in your,
How much can you, as an independent contractor without a W-2, without a 401k, guess how much you can put away tax-free every year?
Well,
$12,000.
$69,000.
69?
Yes,
individually or?
yes.
Okay, but if I'm married to one that has a W-2, because we have a joint and I can only,
You have a cap.
yeah, so we have a cap, I think is it 7?
Yep.
Seven,
Because
yeah.
it's a traditional 401k, so you have a cap. So if you're like an employee or
So I need to have my own Roth.
inside a solo 401k, that solo 401k is basically the government allows you to save a lot more money because you don't have the benefit of an employer.
So what's the step?
SEP is just profit sharing. So let's say a lot of people in real estate have an S corp. So technically I don't work at an S corp, but there's an S corp over Grapevine Realty that owns all of the different DBAs that we have, because we have a construction company, we have a short-term rental company, we have a land development company. Okay, so inside that SEP, I can have an additional IRA that profit shares into my retirement account for my benefit. That's what a SEP is. Profit sharing inside your own. And I brought you guys, that's why I sent you this link to the 300-page document that by chapter and verse that goes into every single detail as to how do you roll over an account. if you roll it over, what are your penalties? You just pay the tax now, because otherwise you're gonna pay the tax later, but it's on a much larger amount of money. And then all of this money grows tax-free, capital gains free, and the transfer of death. There's not minimum distributions on your heirs. Like if you have a 401k and you pass away and your children inherit your 401k, they have to take minimum distributions, which means they have to burn through that money and pay all the tax on the money within a few short years after you pass away.
And now with the law.
Not with the Roth.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
As somebody whose brain is like blowing up because I
Sorry.
can't do basic math.
Okay.
With you, like, so I mean, I'm self-employed. I also have a W-2 job.
Mhm.
I have an investment property.
Mhm.
Obviously, like but this is something that matters to me, but I don't know why it matters to me or how it should matter to
Yeah.
me. Is there like, do you do this on a one-on-one basis that I can just kind of be like, here's my situation?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then what I'm going to give you is unbiased research, because
Right.
I'm not a financial advisor. I was married to one for 17 years. But I'm trying to teach you the things that I made mistakes on 20 years ago. Because if I would have known, I would have taken my Roth conversion in 08 when the market tanked, because then I wouldn't have paid nearly as much tax. And I would probably have 15 million in real estate now. To be honest, I did the math. Okay. So it's okay. So now it's, how do I utilize the money that people already have on paper? Everybody gets a statement of their bank account or their investment portfolio. Those are numbers on paper in a casino account. How do you teach your clients to say, let's take the anxiety and fear out of retirement and let's buy an asset that someone else will pay off for you? A tenant's hard-earned money is going to make you rich, okay, and your client's rich, and then they're going to be able to have this asset that produces tax-free money for them into retirement. Yes, they might still have to have a 401k or a pension or some liquidity, because that's what any financial advisor you go to is like, well, real estate is not liquid. I'm like, yeah, it is in my world. I can put a sign in the yard tomorrow. Real estate is very liquid. Okay. You can go to Open Door and get an offer right away. Close in 7 days. Real estate is very liquid. But I was going to be real transparent with you. The only time I really go out to eat is when we get brochures in the mail for retirement seminars. Okay. My husband is 56. So he's in that window of, we have 3 years to figure this out. Okay. I'm embarrassed to tell you all that. We watch our pennies. I'm a very frugal person. Okay. Anyway, so, but that's because I like buying real estate. Okay. And that's what I tell people. I can coach you through how to sacrifice some other things in life to build generational wealth, not just for you, for your children, but for your clients. If you can wrap your mind around this and just know, here's the main tenets of it, and start teaching it to every client you have so that they can buy one property a year, right? Okay. Sorry to digress that direction. But so at all of the dinners at the nice fancy steakhouse that we go about once a month, they all sort of want you to have mutual funds and they want you to have all your assets with this financial advisor because that's how they make money, which leaves me totally out of any level of control, and all my assets that are in the casino account, right? Versus expertise in real estate outproduces that pretty consistently, right? Okay, so I was digressing. Let me go back to my notes so that I can get through this. Will you give me like the 10-minute warning so I can make sure for some, I might have already burned around the time.
No, we've still got like 20 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. All right, so we talked about the tax buckets. Now we're going to talk about sheltering, okay? So S on this little thing is a portion of your money must be sheltered from the market. Most people just think that retirement is mutual funds and life insurance and the 5 buckets that if you meet with a financial advisor, they put your money in, right? You've got bonds, you've got diversity, yeah, 7 buckets, right? We can have 7 rental houses too. There are parts of town, we call it diversity as well in my world. Okay, so sheltering your money, right? Because as the casino market goes up and down, the analogy is you don't know you're swimming naked until the tide goes out. Okay. All right. So having money somewhat sheltered, and I'm not encouraging you to have all your assets in real estate, but I'm hoping that something in you will spark so that you will start asking your clients the questions about, have you considered having hard assets in your retirement portfolio? Would you like us to talk about this? And you reach out to every single client with a 1-minute video that basically asks some of these hard questions. All right. Okay. So next one is income generating. Okay, because let's say you've saved up $2 million to retire and you want to live off of that $2 million inside your 401k. All right, you got your 2 mil, you're going to earn about 8%. Woohoo! Okay, so you're getting 160K in income, right? But now you're going to pay tax on that. So the government's probably going to take about 20 to 30% of it. Okay. Let's say that $2 million, yes, it could be in a mutual fund. Yes, it could be in a set equity, annuity, life insurance. It could be something that is fairly secure, so that amount's not going to change. But what are you going to do if you have some healthcare need? My grandmother's 92. She's got 24-hour care. Guess how much that costs? Any guess?
$6K a month.
$25,000 a month. Whew. Okay. Okay, but she has a
So we got overquoted. We didn't go with that.
facility. She makes 24-hour care in a home.
I know.
So my background, I told you, is medical sales. I did that for 15 years in the hospital. So those facilities at $6 grand a month are not always the nicest. I'm going to be real honest with you. And yeah, you can not have any money and go on Medicaid and be on the wait list.
And this 300K is,
Don't everybody is fine. It's what I tell my children. It's a party for insurance.
I know that's just like the medical costs to go after a lot.
The typical cost.
Like as you're.
I'm done.
Somebody said, just take me out to pasture.
Typical healthcare cost of the last year of someone's life. Okay, because they typically end up back and forth to the hospital. They get an infection, they fracture a hip, etc. It becomes that last year statistically of someone's life is about $300,000 a month. Okay, so I'm not trying to freak y'all out.
You are. I'm closer to that number than I likely want to tell y'all.
Okay, okay, so the medicine, we talked about long-term care. Okay, protecting your legacy. How many of your kids would like a real house?
Oh, yeah.
I wish my parents would have given me a real house. I'm hoping my grandmother leaves me sometime. She'll burn through 25 grand. But my parents are my mom's one of 6 kids, and there's 33 grandkids. And so I know all of us are hoping she won't spend every last dime she has at 24 grand a month, right? Okay, so legacy is a big part of it. So here's what I'd like to do. This is back to your notes. Here's the 5 video ideas I have for sparking the conversation with your existing clients. Week 1, let's talk about sheltering money. This little simple thing. You don't have to get into retirement with them. You just start out real estate investing. But a good way to invest for retirement is to protect, so you're not paying the tax man all your hard-earned money. Okay, and somebody else is giving you that hard-earned money that they just paid in rent, right? Okay, so protecting legacy, you can do a video of each one of these topics, okay, under this simple thing. So shelter is the first one, income generation is the second. Because ideally, you buy this asset inside your self-directed IRA. You've already taken your Roth conversion on, best case scenario. The tenant pays off the mortgage because you are allowed to carry a mortgage inside your self-directed IRA. You don't have to pay cash for that asset, which is lovely, right? Because then you only have to have 30% down.
Can you explain how you do that? I don't understand that part.
Okay. So here's the big umbrella. The big umbrella is tax sheltering, okay,
Which is the Roth.
which is the Roth, okay? The Roth can also be under what's called a solo 401k. This, there was a slide you have pulled up, do you know the QRPA thing?
This one right here,
No, it's the first, the email with the 3 attachments. There's a slideshow for QR, yeah, that one. Okay, so this is a convener, all right? I sent him resources for 3 different conveners. The convener is the holding bucket, okay? What is the difference in a traditional IRA versus a QR IRA? This is just a brand new does it. Let's say you can buy real estate with this company. Traditional 401ks and IRAs you can't. You can buy farmland, treasury, cryptocurrency. You can buy private airplanes. You can also buy businesses inside a solo 401k umbrella. Okay? Then next slide. This just talks about, it's a matter of having control, right? Because you're choosing the assets you're deciding to buy. In our instance, my expertise is in real estate, so I want my retirement to be in real estate. So that's why I want to teach people how to buy real estate instead of casino mutual funds, okay? So how does it work? You have a trustee and a sponsor, okay? And then this is, it's essentially a legal entity that is set up that follows the IRS tax guidelines, okay? Sorry if I'm losing to you guys.
Oh, no.
I'm glad y'all are asking questions, because to me, this is second nature, but it might make any sense, the airplane, the laundry, my scribbles. So I'm so sorry if I'm losing you at any point in this, okay? So that just talks about what you're allowed to do in the rollover. You're moving your old 401k from the company you used to work for before you sold real estate and before your clients are at their current job. So if any of your clients have had a recent job change, or that in the last 6 months or even the last 2 or 3 years, say, hey, did you ever roll over your old 401k from your previous job? That could be another video spark for a question, right? So you take that rollover and you put it into this type of account that allows you to buy farmland, to buy doors, to buy your own property. You can also invest in what's called a real estate investment trust or REIT. And that's where a bigger syndicate buys apartment buildings. And then you just get dividends that are consistent as well. Okay? Paladin Trust, and there's a whole bunch of them. Sorry.
You take the hit.
When you do the conversion,
So
correct.
you're saying you're the tax.
Right.
You can't, the government wants you to keep money in 401k and not. So you pay a fee to do that. So if you cash out 401k, pay a fee, so you move it to a Roth, now the Roth, no more taxes.
Correct.
In the Roth, you can invest in real property, you can get a loan.
Exactly.
And you can continue to put annually into that.
$69,000.
But the penalty is always when you, some people have 401k, they never touch it, don't know about it. You want to get half that out, you're gonna take a hit, which they scare you, say, don't take the hit, don't touch that, you're gonna have to fee. But then once it's in the Roth, you can, do all these things.
Do all the things. It does. That's an absolute perfect translation.
I may have a stupid question because this is foreign to me, but okay, so my husband has a 401k. Obviously, I don't. I have my Roth, but should we take the penalty every year to push money out of 401k?
Is he still working?
Yeah.
Okay, so until he stops working at that company,
No.
he cannot do a conversion.
Okay.
But he can max out his Roth there. So you can dividend split. So the cap is 16,500. This is important. You cannot put much money back in a 401k. The most you're allowed is 16,500 tax-free. After that, you tax. So that's when you can set up a separate personal Roth where you can put your pre-tax money into, but there is a cap at 7,500, right? So to get the biggest bang for the buck, it's when you do your rollover and you do a transfer and a conversion. So you take the hit on the taxes, but all of your actual asset stays there. And there's also a way to kind of space it out. So let's say you had $500,000 in that old 401k, you could roll over a portion of it each year. So let's say I'm going to convert 100 this year, 100 next year, and buy a house. Any other questions?
And the other thing I would just say is real estate agents here, we probably don't have 401ks. so for like, someone who works at Lockheed, financial partner, whoever, most people have a 401k, but they don't have any clue what's in it, you know, they don't, not, so the angle is, if you have clients, they're probably not thinking about it. Even these clients. And what you have doesn't, money is just sitting there.
Yeah, so the big goal is to be able to start prepping your clients for, do you need a tax-free asset in your retirement? Because a lot of people, most of their money is tied up in their 401k, right? So starting to have those hard conversations about, here's one way that real estate can create a vehicle that creates income. Okay, it gives you some tax advantages as well. And then it also gives you some great stability and predictability into retirement that a 401k does not offer unless you're in a low yield, right? Which is a 3 to 4% interest rate. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go back to my notes. So I printed a whole bunch of other things for you guys. So here's like a chart that just kind of explains if you have a 401k account from before your employer, et cetera. This is from an attorney who has fought the Supreme Court. So this is like the best resource guide on 401ks and how to set one up. So these are actually instructions on how to set one up too. And then this is out of the 300-page book. Okay. Yes. He's been doing it for 20 years. He is sort of the elder. And that's one packet. Yeah.
Oh, that's one packet. Okay, that's one packet. You can just take picture of all the pages.
That's what?
That's just one packet.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
show all that
Yeah,
on
we'll
the
do it.
screen.
All right.
I'll scan these in and I'll put these in the brokerage announcement channel after this meeting, so you guys have all this. But I don't have a way to scan it and show it to you all at one time.
But if we do have a plan that.
Well, absolutely. And what we'll do is we'll sit down and I will talk about, okay, here are some of the long-term advantages of having real estate inside your portfolio of investments.
So if we, like, I have 3 properties, I already have multiple properties. Is this something that they should be looking into now, and it's kind of busy, like, convert it? Oh, okay, so it's the new.
Because
The next property that they buy.
exactly, the next property they buy, they want to be able to have it purchased by the IRA. So the IRA is who is the owner of the property. All of the rents are paid to the IRA. The lease is written in the IRA's name. Okay.
But the IRA name is supposed to be in an entity.
Correct.
IRS,
Correct. Yes.
or whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's very clearly written out the IRS's guidelines for the title that is taken of the asset. So title takes the asset's name because the owner is the 401k. The beneficiary is whoever contributed. So some of the ones that I manage for is a husband and wife, and so one might own 49% of this house and 30% of that house. And so you can, depending on how they've combined their finances, it can be broken down into a percentage of ownership.
And then do you also provide like the maybe guidance of how they're supposed to beneficiaries and heirs and that process? Okay.
Yeah. So I'm so glad you asked that because my best friend's mom died recently of breast cancer, and she was required to take a minimum distribution on mom's 401k. You know, and it was a big financial hit because she had paid taxes on that amount of money. Okay, that's the big advantage with the Roth is that that can transfer without the minimum distributions like a 401k has. Okay.
So if your parents are like my mom, 72, and she wants to retire in the next 3 years, can she, once she retires, she can transfer it to a Roth, and then we're all in the clear. So 3 of us are beneficiaries right now on her 401k.
Correct.
So we want her to, but she has to retire first to transfer.
Well, it depends on where all of her assets are.
She doesn't.
They're all in one place.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Then yes. At then, okay, so I brought you all of these little resources.
And you're letting your business cards, okay?
From all the steak dinners I've eaten. Um, this is my favorite person, okay? They have a TV show, Retire Simple, that's what this note is from, okay? After going to 15 or so of these financial advisors pitching all of their services, this is the only company that said, the most important thing you do is the Roth conversion. Okay, that is the best way to financially protect yourself and your heirs. Okay, once you do after that is not nearly as important as that first one step. Okay, so this is the company I would recommend to if you need a convener, right, for other resources.
Is there stuff in here too?
No, but if you want to take a picture of this, I mean, there's URL codes and whatnot, and it's also in the flyer. So this QR code is a retirement planning. It does not include real estate though, just so you know, it's only mutual funds and all the things in their wheelhouse, okay? So the reason financial advisors don't talk about this is because they don't make a commission on a self-directed IRA. I asked my good friend who's a certified financial planner to come with me, and she was like, why? In the self-directed IRA, there's no one making commission. There's no one paying for the steak dinner, hoping to get your assets under management that they then charge you a fee to manage. That's why financial advisors don't recommend real estate, but it is a far better investment, time and appreciation, hard asset that, I mean, we know, I don't need to show. Sorry. Okay. I did bring some of these other things because they all send you little books too. So these are fun 99 retirement tips. Maybe you take the next 90 days and each day you talk to your clients about one of these tips. I brought it so y'all can make copies of it, or you can ask them to send you one. You just request a book. Okay. But so you just translate that all to what's a good tip for buying real estate. Go walk your neighborhood. See if your neighbors want to sell their house. Okay, so you can translate all of these 99 tips back to selling more real estate to your existing clients. And I would be pretty confident if you start having this conversation, whether it's on your Facebook, your Instagram, or even just with the people you network with, your Rotary Club, your church, you know, and you start having these conversations. Like, I'm so excited to be able to offer my clients this amazing resource to give them tax-free income into retirement. With greater stability, no casino roller coaster, better protection for your heirs. Okay. I think that's most of my notes. I know it's a lot. It's like drinking out of a fire hose.
But I'm gonna be sharing these books. This is 337 pages.
This is your guide. That's all the tax implications. How to roll over, what's an arm length. So if somebody already owns real estate, they cannot. A prohibited transaction is an arm's length transaction. So I can't sell it to my kids or to my family. You can't move it into another entity that then owns it. So it has to be set up right from the beginning. Okay. Let's say I want to do flipping and rehabs. You can do all that as well. Inside your self-directed IRA. I brought you these flyers. This is the mortgage company that will loan you money inside a self-directed IRA. So I just call Bob. Bob sends me the numbers. I have the closing costs. I have everything that I need because I've got a transaction that I'm working on. My mother-in-law lives in this house and we do Airbnb in this house, and I want the house in the middle. Okay. So I can buy it inside my self-directed IRA, and I can use a non-recourse loan, and I can buy down the interest rate. They only do 30-year notes, but you can pay it off in a 15, and there's no penalty for prepayment. So let's say, and I can do short-term rental in that house as well. I just can't do it for my own benefit, which means my family's going to go stay in that house. That is an illegal transaction. So if somebody went to buy a vacation house inside their self-directed IRA that they're going to Airbnb, how many of y'all have done investment properties with Airbnb? So, you know, you pull the Air DNA, you put together your prospectus. I taught Peak how to do that. I'm like, this is how you check your occupancy rate, your nightly averages, your seasonality, and then your heads and beds, you know, and it's great. If you're, okay. How about we do a short-term rental teaching class next time? I will teach y'all how to teach your clients how to be Airbnb hosts, okay? But you can't then go stay in your beach house, that your short-term rental inside your subject.
You cannot.
You cannot, you're you're not supposed to. It's not higher since cameras on you, but that's it, okay. So this is just a loan information sheet from a company who does the type of loans you have to have inside your self-directed IRA. Okay, so that's what this sheet is. Okay, I think I went through all of my comments.
Can we thank Hannah for this information? I know this was like a fire hose, but there'll be more coming. I'd like to have Hannah come back maybe once a quarter and just run through maybe a little bit deeper dive on some of these things that'll make us better agents and help us sell more real estate, honestly. And maybe we can do a short-term rental class in the spring. That'll be our next booking session. So, but can we thank Hannah one more time, please? Thank you for breakfast. Thank you for the food. Thank you for this information.
I will host the meeting at my short-term rental house.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And that way y'all can tour several of my houses that are in the area, and I can say, okay, here's where you buy the furniture, this is the sheets you get, this is what you have to have, this is, this is the process. Okay, and that way, when you guys go to your clients, you're like, hey, here's what the city allows, here's how you get your permit, here's how you do your fire escape. Okay? And then here's where you print the documents, to make sure the money makes sense, right? Because if you can show them the cash flows, Airbnb prints money, I'm not gonna lie. Okay? So if you haven't teed up your clients for that opportunity, Fort Worth is a bit hard.
Mhm.
They've got it locked down, but there's lots of other cities that are very friendly. Okay, sorry.
Thank you, Hannah.
guys.
Thank you so much. And hey, Hannah will be hanging around for a few minutes. If you want to talk to her meeting. That's it for this week. So next week, I'll be Brian breakfast, and we'll be doing small steps, big results. Week 3, open houses and visibility. And we hope to see you guys soon. Get your Greater Fort Worth Association dues done, please. Victoria. And get your license renewed. Thank y'all.
Also, real quick, Brian,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
when are we doing a photo shoot? October 7th.
October 7th will be the photo shoot. Okay.
It's a Tuesday.
Okay. Tuesday afternoon. Okay. I was waiting on that date.
Yeah, you sent me that, and she said she would do that.
Okay, so photo shoot, if you need to do headshots, there will be, sorry,
I can send it to you.
okay. Oh, they're all accessible on the backside under the resources. They're all there. Jamie, we went back and revamped everything. Thank you guys very much. I'm gonna stop the video and we can continue talking after the video's over.
You too. Yes.
You want to give it to me now? Yeah, let me go ahead.